maintain output and efficiency during the COVID-19 pandemic could actually generate a worldwide productivity boost or slump, as the case may be. But how feasible is this part of the world? Joining me for reactions is Executive Director, SystemSpecs, Deremi Atanda. And Deremi, it's good to have you with us. What are the best ways to remain productive from corporate and personal perspectives if we should reflect on the home front, as it were?
Thank you, and nice to join you here today. Like I said, on two levels. At the corporate level, I think the most important thing is to get people to know this is not a holiday in the first instance. So get everybody engaged to know this is not a holiday. Second thing is you need to get people to keep the goals of the business in view. Just keep it there. The world isn't going to disappear, so we need to keep the business objectives right in full view. And for the corporate, still at the corporate level, you need to identify who your key resources are. I mean, every business will have at its heart the people who are really critical. So identify these key resources, keep them constantly engaged and motivated. And on the personal level, for those of us in fintech, it's really not new, undertaking remote work, but at the same time, these are unusual times, And so for individuals, be very clear about what your deliverables are. Keep your lists. Invest in different tools, and there are quite a of them now that everybody is beginning to realize. I mean, task organizers, things that allow you to track exactly what your deliverables are. The other thing is, don't just work from your bed, it's work. So get some right space where you can work from at home and engage with other people. You cannot be an island to yourself in this instance, talking about keeping personal productivity up. Engage in team work, deepen it, be in touch with other guys. I mean, top level, those are some of the thoughts that come to mind right now. Thank you.
You're right, Deremi. Teamwork is essential in moments like this, despite the lockdown. Now, as one of the oldest indigenous fintech companies, how is SystemSpecs contributing to ameliorating the nationwide impact of COVID-19?
Well, not many people saw this coming, and we've processed this as an organization, and our response to it has been within our CSR framework. Typically, our CSR framework before now had been in the area of developing tech capacity, indigenous tech capacity, but this is an unusual time. And so we've responded. Our response has been around three dimensions, essentially. One, providing cash to the federal and state governments for direct interventions and making palliatives available to the public. The second one is undertaking investment in the procurement of an advanced COVID-19 testing system, working with the International Federation Against Infectious Diseases in Nigeria, which is a collaboration with the University of Nebraska and the US, and we've invested in the procurement of an advanced COVID-19 test system for their laboratory in Kano. So that's speaking to that directly. The third thing we've done is we've used this time to evaluate the implication of this kind of lockdown on government operations going forward. And so we're working with some state governments to provide them with technology to support remote work. So we've provided computer systems, and we've also made subscriptions in terms of internet connectivity to ensure that the people who have been told to work from home can actually keep the wheels of government running. And let's face it, government still stands at the most vantage position to coordinate things. And the people who need to get these things done will need to work remotely. So the least we can do is to invest in technology to help them make this happen. So those are the three dimensions. The last bit of it, which we've of course done, is in the area where we've always worked, in providing financial technology. And so we've provided a platform that can help the federal government and other state governments who are mobilizing funds from the public securely into central accounts from Nigerians, individuals, and corporates in Nigeria and in diaspora. And that's recording a massive boost on our platform, remittance.net. If you go there, you're going to see that opportunity exists for people to make donations to the federal government and to other state governments. So let's say 3+1 dimensional response from us for now.
Indeed, Deremi, and you mentioned palliatives in one of the strategies discussed. How do you expect this to impact government operations, and how will the public especially benefit from it?
So there are two dimensions. When I talk about the palliatives, and that's supposed to be an outflow of the cash that donation we've made within the package of 100 million that we've made available as our own direct response to this. We think the federal government and the states across political zones still have the structure to reach out to people. So we expect this cash will be invested in those palliatives using government's current structures beyond what we would do on our own. That's one dimension. The second dimension is in terms of improving the capacity for testing, which informed the procurement of that advanced COVID-19 test system with some kits with it. To say we can actually, if you're tracking the numbers, the number of tests we're able to do in response to this, there's a whole lot more to do. And so that's the other thing we did to ensure that tests can actually happen where it's necessary. The third bit of it, like I said, is preparing government for the future of work. Right now, there will be many people who still have reasons to engage government, but if government operations were critical operations are shut down, means they're out. So that's what has informed us from that perspective to make capacity available, technology capacity available, to ensure that citizen to government relationships that are critical can still happen. Just think about it. Before now, on weekends, how were you able to reach government operations outside of payment? How were civil servants able to work? Even if you had given them computers, they hardly will be able to take them home. So what we've done is to invest in technology that supports remote working first, to ensure that civil servants are able to continue to deliver on their mandates, and two, more importantly, for citizens who need to engage government, that the operations of government are not grounded. And it will interest you to know that this is already beginning to have impact, because the public know that the government continues to run, and whatever operations that they need to benefit from, they can still have access to such.
Indeed, Deremi, just a one-off question here. You talked about investment in technology. So how can fintech encourage more transparency in the disbursement of funds to those who actually need those funds the most?
Well, thank you. I think, unfortunate as it is, the pandemic has just helped everyone to better appreciate the role of technology in advancing society. Before now, we've been talking about many terms that were just floating and hanging in the air. Financial inclusion, bottom of the pyramid. We've been talking about identity. This is the first time we probably are beginning to understand how all of these things add up. And for those of us in fintech, this is the message we've been trying to pass across before now. There have been many issues around freeing up tech to operate in this space, either licensing, making it easy for people to operate in this space. Now it is crunch time, and we're trying to get across to make these things happen. You also saw the backlash when cash was being given out. Better late than never is the position we've taken in terms of fintech. They know that there's hardly any new thing to innovate. You can actually make wallets happen, whether people have phones or not. You can use different other devices as cards. You can leverage the national identity right from within government's purse, whether at the federal or state level. What this essentially does is it brings in accountability, it brings in transparency, and it actually enhances transactions among the bottom of the pyramid across everybody, because while we're home and out now, we still have reason to transact. And the problem is, how do we make this happen? And just imagine home now, technology is running, so we're still able to do this. Typically, I probably would have been in your studio. And so it's come to us that it's a time when government needs to pay a lot more attention to making technology more readily available so that we can service citizens. There have been mentions of outbursts here and there. Disbursing palliatives to them should not have been as difficult as it is now. And so it gives us an idea that we need to step up on initiatives such as the national ID. We need to step up on mobile systems. We need to step up on social security systems. Thankfully, the ones that have been on ground have shown us we can do this. And so it's just to step up on those things. And at the end of the day, fintech is still at the heart of this. Technology is still at the heart of it. And what this also doing is that there's a whole lot of ecosystem play where many more people in the tech space are coming together to launch initiatives, and we're not looking at ourselves as silo operators. One of the groups I belong to, which I'm proud of what they've done, is the FinTech 1000, that has been working behind the scene with NCDC to make phone calls and self-testing possible. It will amaze you the caliber of people there selflessly making technology happen. So that's one dimension of technology, and there are many more. And I just hope that beyond this time, it will be we will really take the role of technology to address national issues very importantly as a country.
Indeed, we hope so too. Deremi Atanda, Executive Director, SystemSpecs, many thanks for your perspectives on those issues. Jim